9-year-old me closing my eyes in the car on the way home and trying to guess where we are. Welcome back to the next episode of Gen X and Millennial Memes, where we look back on years gone by for those last good memories. Please consider hitting that like button, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe, click the bell, and select all notifications so you don't miss any new episodes. For all the people that just want to read the memes and don't want to hear me yapping, you can head over to our brand new channel, Akornzstash 2, no narration. We're just getting that channel started, but we're uploading new videos every week. But enough about that, let's jump into today's episode. Mom in the 60s, my hair can't get any bigger. Daughter in the 80s, hold my boombox. This was sent in by Shelly, who is one of the viewers here on Akornzstash. If you have any memes, links, or other things that you would like to submit, you can send it to our email, akornzstash@gmail.com. The link is also down below in the video description. This telephone is no longer in operation. It is a historical artifact. Take pictures or remember the old days. That's right, guys. Payphones are now just a museum piece. When Vincent Price agreed to lend his voice to Thriller, he had to choose between a share of the album's profits or a flat fee of $20,000. He chose the $20,000. But I guarantee you, he regretted it later. I saw this video last week, and I find it to be very true. And I just thought I'd share it with you guys, because it was Generation X that built the phrase, "It is what it is."
If you know someone who uses the phrase, "It is what it is," trust me, they are dangerous. They've mastered the art of acceptance and refuse to let anything beyond their control to affect them. So if you try to manipulate or threaten to leave their life, think again. They don't give a f***. They do not care. You can walk out of their life and they'll even open the door for you. And the best part, when someone asks them if they're okay because you left them, they'll simply use that magical phrase, "It is what it is." They won't chase after you or beg you to stay. They've learned that life goes on, no matter what. This attitude makes them strong, resilient. It's not that they don't have feelings. They just prioritize their peace. So if you think you can break them or make them feel small, you're in for a surprise. They've seen it all, and they're still standing tall. You leaving won't shake their world. It is what it is.
I thought that video rang true. What do you guys think about it? Remember when we used to laugh at the commercial, "I've fallen down and I can't get up"? Yeah, it's not so funny anymore. In last week's episode, I made a comment almost identical to this. And then yesterday, I come across this meme. At least I'm not the only one who thinks this. This is a childhood delicacy. Yes, it is. Put a little butter and some garlic powder on there, and it makes it even better. This generation today will never know the experience. I slept on a waterbed one time. My back was hurting me so bad the next morning, I didn't want to sleep on them anymore after that. When the Goonies were in theaters. Look how long that line wraps all the way around the block. How it feels when I have to scroll down to the year I was born. On last week's episode, there was a meme where somebody was saying that when you're having to scroll all the way down to find the year you were born, it was like spinning the wheel on Wheel of Fortune. And I basically said that they were wrong, that it was more like the Price is Right wheel. The reason being, anytime that you have to scroll down for the year you were born, you're always scrolling vertically. I don't know if I've ever seen one where it scrolled horizontally. That was just my thinking, at least. My wife is getting her hair done, and I told her to watch out for turtles. The Generation X color palette. This is true. For some reason, it seemed like all appliances, and even some other odd and ends, only came in these shades from yellow to green. Do you guys agree with this? What was the color of the appliances in your house? I asked my daughter to give me the phone book. She laughed at me, called me a dinosaur, and lent me her iPhone. So the spider is dead, the iPhone is broken, and my daughter is furious. And that is just hilarious. Alright guys, here is an article I came across a couple days ago that I just had to share with you guys. GMC made a motorhome that pumps sewage through its exhaust on purpose. You've heard of rolling coal. Now get ready for rolling Taco Bell. It was supposed to be odorless, but the employees of the company said it had that hot diaper smell. Just think if it was somebody tailgating you or blowing their horn or just otherwise being obnoxious, and you just go and turn this thing on until the stink drives them away. I'm never lonely, 'cause I got these little guys with me. Yep, I don't know what these things are, and I don't see them most of the time, but every so often I can see them floating around. A long, long time ago, before gamers could look up maps on the internet, this is what you did. Map, circa 1987. You know you're over 40 when you have upstairs ibuprofen and downstairs ibuprofen. I don't have an upstairs, and I try not to take ibuprofen too much, because it's not good for your kidneys for one thing. More often than not, I take extra strength Tylenol and Excedrin migraine, most of the time together, which if I remember right, it's probably bad for your liver. With that said, I also have my prescription meds, and I always keep my main bottles in my house. I have one bottle with some extras in my car, and I have another bottle with some extras over in my barn. That way, if I forget to take them, then I always have some close by. I don't know exactly what's going on here. This is apparently from the Olympics, and I've seen a couple memes concerning this, but I thought this one was pretty good. Everyone's timeline soon. My baby's heading back to school. I was driving yesterday and passed one of the schools in our area, and either it had already started back up or they're getting ready to in the next couple days. Now if the commercial didn't display, then that means I had to take it out of the video. But what it was the 1975 McDonald's commercial with the jingle for the Big Mac. I mentioned about having issues with YouTube copyright on commercials because I had to cut the commercial out in a past video because I got hit by a copyright claim. Also, the 1-year channel anniversary video that I made about the strawberry bonbon actually was removed by YouTube due to another copyright claim. I'm going to edit that video and take out the parts that was hit for copyright and re-upload that video either tomorrow or this coming week. I think only a few of you had a chance to see that video, so be watching for the new upload. Do you even lift, bro? Probably only older Gen X will know these. If you think you know what these are, drop your answers down in the comments. 43 years ago, back on Saturday, August 1st, 1981, at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time, MTV debuts on cable TV. Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll. The very first thing that aired was a music video. If you know what song it was, hit a bunch of keys on your keyboard and drop your answer in the comments. GoFundMe, 1988 edition. Life-size Polly Pocket House for rent in Littleton, Massachusetts. I guess this is what happens when you have a lot of money and don't know what to do with it. You only have 1 quarter. Which game are you playing? All of these are great games, but if I only had 1 quarter, I'd want it to last as long as possible. So if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Super Mario Brothers. Because as long as I was using the original controller, I think muscle memory would kick back in. You might be old if 1 point for everything you've done. There's a total of 24 possible points here, and I definitely made all 24 points. What score did you guys get? I will add that it's kind of sad that listening to music on a CD and having used an encyclopedia is on this list. This is what a Big Mac looked like when I was growing up. Yeah, it did. However, these days we found out that this was a lot better for us. Sometimes I'd like to leave my kids in 1985 just to see how long they would last there. I think the whole younger generation needs to be done to this way, a few at a time. Abandoned malls should be turned into Gen X retirement homes, 3 stories tall, with a food court, movie theater, arcade, Orange Julius, a skate park, and a Glamour Shots just for the heck of it. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if someone don't do this. Back in the 80s, we would sit anxiously and wait for our favorite song to come on the radio, and then hit record. Gen Xers will get this. Yep, sure do. If you get it, drop it in the comments. Wood grain, the bling of the 80s. That is very true. These days, stainless steel is kind of being done the same way. It's the new wood grain. It's finally happening. Yeah, because nobody knows how to drive a stick shift anymore. It's the best anti-theft device too. Just remember to not let any younger person drive your vehicle. Otherwise, you're going to have a big repair bill. If we reenacted the stuff we pulled in our teens and 20s, we'd all be TikTok famous by now. Yeah, kids today believe that things like the Tide Pod Challenge or the Ice Bucket Challenge shows how tough they are. But if most of us did the stuff that we did as kids, we could each have millions of followers. However, on the flip side, we'd probably also be in the hospital because we're just too old now. On top of that, some of the younger kids today would try to copy us, and they'd be in the hospital too. And then their lawyers would be trying to sue us for it. Core memory unlocked. I'm this old. When the car you used to draw in the 4th grade pulls up on you. That's a pretty good description. The 80s survival kit. In 1980, the coyote finally caught the roadrunner. He then asked the audience, "Now what do I do?" It may have just been a parody, but I read somewhere that they showed that the coyote finally caught the roadrunner, and he took him, cooked him up, and shared him with his best friend. But I know for certain that I never saw that in the official cartoon. Yep, I agree. As a kid, when this came on, it was time to turn off the TV. When we grew older, though, we found out that this was actually a great show. Y'all want to talk about generational divides? I don't know anyone under 40 who separates laundry into lights and darks. On top of that, back in the day, you always separated your whites from your colors. I don't have any whites anymore. They're just too hard to keep clean. If you ever see me, I'll probably be wearing blue jeans and a gray t-shirt, because I always keep about 20 of these gray t-shirts and only have them separated between good shirts and work shirts. When a good shirt starts getting a little too old and kind of raggedy around the edges, so to speak, it gets moved to the work shirt pile. Not only does it make the laundry a lot more simple, but I also don't have to give much thought into what I'm going to wear for the day. The Rocky Mountains. Admit it, when Ferris Bueller changed his grades, you briefly considered what your own school's computer system was like. If you played these growing up, you are an original gamer. Bro unalived, but they made him go to work anyway. They're not wrong. Things you say after 40. I'm not going to read all of these, but they are pretty true. And in my view, justifiably so. If you guys want to read them, you can pause the video. My friend showed me how they fixed the water stain on the ceiling in their office. What can I say? That's the perfect repair. The older we get, the more disgusting they get. This is very true. It's all the fake ingredients and chemicals that they make them out of nowadays. If you're a young person, it might be hard to really understand this, but the whole world used to smell like cigarettes. The 1980s smartwatch. Some of my viewers has asked me in the comments on past episodes if I remember the calculator watch. And although I never remember having one, yes, I do remember them. I don't think that any of us could forget these. How do people go to sleep as soon as they close their eyes? It takes me 3 hours, 11 pillow flips, 7 different positions, 2 trips to the bathroom, and a partridge in a pear tree. This isn't far from the truth. The only therapy dog that can handle all my problems. Many people still don't know the meaning behind shoes strung up on a power line. Well, I guess that's true, because the only thing I ever knew that it meant was that somebody threw their shoes up on a power line. Teens today don't know how good they have it with lyric sites. We used to have to sing it wrong for years until the truth destroyed us. Either you be singing it wrong the whole time, or when you come to that one little part, you just be fumbling over it because you never could quite understand what they were saying. Back in '75, The Muppet Show predicted what most women would look like in 2024. Stand By Me was released on this day in 1986.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
As a kid, what was your favorite home-cooked meal? Well, if I had to pick one, I guess I would say barbecue ribs. My mom would buy a beef roast and cut it into strips, and then she would put on a barbecue rub that was made by the local grocery store, and then she'd cover it and put it in the oven. They'd end up coming out really tender, and it was all meat and not just a bunch of bones. When kids rode their bikes to 7-Eleven to spend their allowance on cheap candy and comic books. Overrated actor and actresses from the 80s. If I had to pick one, I guess I'd probably go with Tom Cruise. Who would you guys pick? I went to see Beetlejuice in theaters in 1988. Child, that was so many years ago. Me. They say scent is the strongest trigger for memory. I've been out of school for 35 years, and I have never once used algebra. The first time that I took algebra, I failed. So the next year, because it was required credit, I had to take it again. And the teacher didn't know why I was back in her class, because she didn't even know that I failed. But I chose to sign up for the same teacher because I kind of knew I was going to end up failing the first time through, so I saved all of my homework and all of the answers. That way, I was guaranteed to pass it the second time. I actually asked the teacher one day, when would we ever use algebra in real life? And her reply was, well, if you become an algebra teacher. And I honestly think, for the 99% of people, that's the only correct answer. The closest thing I'll ever get to playing a violin. Shout out to the parents in Christmas Story just chugging wine for breakfast. When I say I'm living the dream, this is the dream I'm referring to. We have breakfast at home. I love the 2 chicken bones off to the side there. The Tesla Cybertruck is just a Pontiac Aztek with PlayStation 1 graphics. Fact check true. The world we grew up in is slowly fading away. And I'll end the video with this. If you could sit on this bench and chat for 1 hour with anyone, who would it be? I'd give anything to have one last conversation with my dad. I thank you all for watching. Take care, stay safe. This is Akorn. Over and out.